Severe weather is not coming down, with more severe weather on the way. So I'm gonna be talking about what you need to know about the severe weather potential. Let's jump right into the video. What is it? Let me see here. It is a Wednesday, April 15th, 2026, and we have a chance for severe weather today, all the way from parts of central Texas to the Great Lakes region. We have a chance for severe weather today. As you can see right here, there's a level 1 out of 5 green marginal risk in place. That does include Dallas, and that goes all the way up to the Great Lakes region. The marginal affects New York, Dallas, Texas, Columbus, Ohio, Fort Worth, Texas, and Arlington, Texas. You guys are inside of that marginal risk. A few scattered severe storms will be a potential today in those locations, but tornadoes are even going to be a potential in some of these places out here. Especially, we also have like this level 2 out of 5 slight risk, which is this yellow. That goes all the way from Oklahoma City to Detroit, and that does include Chicago. So the places that slight risk includes is Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, Indianapolis, Indiana, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Oklahoma City. You guys are inside of that slight risk for today. We do have a chance for some tornadoes today as well. As you can see right here, we have a pretty large 2% tornado risk going all the way from Dallas over towards Cleveland and Chicago. Actually, a tornado or two cannot be ruled out within that green highlighted area that the Storm Prediction Center issued. But we do have a 5% tornado risk over here near Des Moines, Iowa, where we could see some tornadoes as well today. So if you're out there, please be staying weather aware. And then tornadoes down here are going to be a potential as well for parts of eastern Oklahoma, northern Texas, southwestern Missouri, northwestern Arkansas, and southeastern Kansas. So it's going to be a potential for tornadoes down there. So yes, tornadoes will be a potential, and then all the 5% are marked with a tornado conditional intensity group 1 risk. So cannot rule out a strong EF2 plus tornado. Here is the wind outlook. Here you can see that we do have potential for some pretty damaging winds out there. Going all the way from parts of Texas to the Great Lakes region, we could be dealing with some pretty strong winds today, especially with that 15% wind risk, which is going from places just north of Dallas all the way to Chicago and some of these areas out here, Cleveland. We got damaging winds being a potential, so be aware for that. We also have a hail potential, so hail is going to be a concern, so if you're in these areas, make sure to park your car in a garage so that doesn't get damaged by hail, because hail is going to be a pretty decent concern. We have some of this rain make its way through here in these areas, and that's kind of just going to make its way out of the area. And then we're going to have some storms try to develop later today, especially around 4 p.m. Eastern is when some of the storms down here could start getting their act together. So that's something to be watching. And then we're also going to have some initiation up here too. So if we push this up some more, you can see some of the storms starting to come together even more out there. And yeah, we're going to have a pretty big tornado threat with this. So that's definitely something to be watching. This all the supercells are kind of squished together, all the storms. And then you can see some of those storms that will pop up potentially out here too. That we gotta be watching, and then they'll turn into more of a line as we get more into the night, and be a pretty big damaging wind threat by that time. So, again, if you're in Michigan, I've been saying this because you guys have been getting kind of slammed by some severe weather. If you're in Michigan, make sure you have an alerts on while you're sleeping tonight, as we're gonna have some storms potentially coming to some of those areas, especially if you're along this area in Michigan, and yeah, out here as well, because we're gonna have some storms potentially push through those areas and everything like that. So, yeah, that's the future radar. So, yeah, we could have a pretty big tornado threat with this, and we do have some instability out there for some making the environment favorable for tornadoes. As you can see right here, this is CAPE. This stands for Convective Available Potential Energy. You can see that we're going to have some out there making the environment favorable for tornadoes. You can see that we're having around 3,000 joules per kilogram. Here's a significant tornado perimeter. You can see we're going to have some out there. So, yeah, there is going to be a chance for potential for a few strong tornadoes today. Moisture get pumped up into this area as well, as you can see right here. So, if you're in this area for today on Wednesday, April 15, 2026, please make sure you're having a way to get alerts. Keep your phone charged so you have a way to get alerts. Know where you're going to take shelter if needed, and stay tuned to watches and warnings, as we're going to have a potential for some severe weather today. To tomorrow on Thursday, you can see here we are going to be having a potential for severe weather all the way from northeastern Arkansas to parts of southwestern New Hampshire. So we're going to have severe weather potentially tomorrow as well on Thursday. Damaging winds, hail will be the main concern, but cannot rule out a isolated tornado or two up here from Rochester down to Albany, New York. So Yeah, but otherwise, damaging winds will be the main concern in the hail risk. But see that there's a marginal risk spanning from northeastern Arkansas all the way up towards southwestern New Hampshire. Then there's a slight risk over here from north Rochester, New York, all the way down to Albany, New York. Make sure you're staying aware on Thursday if you're in these areas, as we could see some severe storms as well. It's just not as concerning. As we get into Friday, our severe weather gets more concerning with a marginal risk expanding from parts of central Texas up towards parts of Wisconsin. It's a level 1 out of 5, where we could see some severe weather on Friday. All hazards will be possible on Friday. We have a slight risk, which is level 2 out of 5, expanding from parts of northern Texas up towards southeastern Minnesota. Then we have an enhanced risk, which is a level 3 out of 5, expanding from parts of northern Oklahoma all the way to eastern Iowa. So all hazards will be possible on this day, as we could see some pretty strong tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. And then we'll have those storms kind of turn into a line, and then maybe turn it into a QLCS tornado threat. Here's just to give you a look at what it could look like on Friday with some of those storms that will come through. This just GFS. It kind of just gives you a look at the area. You can see we're gonna have some of those storms pop up out there in Friday and stuff like that. Can't even rule out a little bit of snow back here. On the backside of it. And then those storms will kind of move into the Great Lakes region, as you can see right there, bringing a potential for severe weather on Saturday within these highlighted areas right here. So all the way from Lexington to Detroit, Michigan, Lexington, Kentucky, Detroit, Michigan, we're watching for potential severe weather on Saturday. That includes Fort Wayne, Columbus, over there towards Cleveland, Ohio, and includes Indianapolis and Bloomington, Indiana, where damaging winds, hail, and maybe even a couple tornadoes will be a potential. And for Friday and Saturday, you can see right here, we're going to have a atmosphere favorable for potential tornadoes. Look at this. It's going to be really favorable for potential tornadoes on Friday and potentially on Saturday. I don't think Saturday is going to be the big tornado threat. I think it would be more of a damaging wind threat. But you can just see all that convective available potential energy. It's CAPE. It stands for convective available potential energy. Think about storm fuel. We're going to have a lot of storm fuel out there, and then tornadoes will be a potential on Friday. But yes, severe weather is about to get very active. There's going to be a chance for excessive rainfall today from Dallas all the way over here towards Albany, New York. And then the areas I'm watching the closest for excessive rainfall today will be Chicago and Fort Wayne. Tomorrow, we aren't really expecting anything crazy with excessive rainfall. But as we get into Friday, we could be dealing with excessive rainfall from Tulsa, Oklahoma, up towards Green Bay or Wisconsin, with the main areas in Iowa City and Cedar Rapids area inside that yellow. With Saturday's excessive rainfall threat down here in eastern Texas and northern Louisiana, parts of northern Mississippi and southern Arkansas. Northern Mississippi and southern Arkansas. Check out the fire weather. For over here towards the southwest, we could be dealing with some fire weather, even over here in parts of western Texas today. And then over here towards North Carolina, Virginia, and other parts of the Ohio Valley could be dealing with fire weather today as well. Then fire weather will continue tomorrow for 3 different areas. For tomorrow and Thursday, we could be dealing with fire weather down here in eastern New Mexico, western Texas, and some of these areas. End up here in parts of northwestern Nebraska, and then over here again in the Ohio Valley and southeast. We're also going to be having some warmer temperatures making its way into parts of the eastern half of the United States. And April still has a lot of severe weather for us, so make sure you're staying aware. Anyways, that's all I got for you in today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next weather update video. Make sure to like and subscribe.